This is like watch out Ferrari, here comes Corvette type of thing. I've driven a 458 Italia, which I think is the closest of the recent Ferraris to compare to this Corvette, only because that Ferrari was the last of the naturally aspirated V8 Ferraris. So it does remind me a lot of that. But so this is an American version of it. I don't like it when people call this the bargain Ferrari. No, I'm sure somebody that spends $140,000 on a sports car doesn't look at it as a bargain anything. It's a very expensive sports car, but as far as all the Corvettes that I've seen around, I like the look of the Z06 the best. It seems more proportioned, and I'll show some B-roll of it, but especially with the way that it handles the rear quarter panel area with the intake, the way it flares out the bodywork on the intake, it makes the trim around the intake, it kind of brings it back into the sheet metal of the rear third of the car, which cuts down on the mass look of the car that the base Corvette has. So let's go ahead and take it on the road, take it around the block, my little route that I do, and we'll talk about what it cost if you would like to get into a Corvette like this and you weren't going to write a check for it. What would some of the numbers look like? Let's just go take it around the block. Got to listen to the way this thing sounds on startup. It sounds really good, especially in a warehouse like this. Go ahead and put it in sport mode. Hear the difference in the exhaust note. It takes a little getting used to this is not a rear view mirror, it's a camera mounted on the rear deck lid, and what's nice about it is it has like a little menu. You could change the brightness, you could change how much it zooms in and out. So that part of it I really like, but it is kind of odd every time you look at it, you do know that it is a camera, not a mirror. So let's take it around the block. And there's the P-Car Whisperer. Sun flare on this camera. It's an impressive lump, as they would call it. Revs really fast. This would be so much fun on a track where you could really take advantage of it. This reminds me of the Lamborghini Huracan that I did a review on a little while ago. Just the way that with the engine right behind you, how it sounds, and how you can feel it against the back of against your back. together when you hit a paddle. And it really wants to go. You can tell. Just hovering around 3,000 RPM as soon as you touch the throttle. When you're looking at this camera in where the rear view mirror would be, there's almost like a double reflection. You're seeing the reflection from the back of you as well as what the camera is showing you, so it's a little distracting. Yeah, it is a very capable car. Like a racehorse wanting to go. In the morning because it's just, even in the middle of the day, is way too much traffic. Yeah, this thing just wants to leap into the next gear. But yeah, if I were designing it, I would do something different with the haptic feel of the paddle shifters. It almost, the meatiness of the engine is almost distracted or almost made a little cheaper because of these carbon fiber paddles. Really, they have a plasticky sound when you pull the trigger. Somebody wasn't looking at you, they would think you're driving a Ferrari. Now, not to say that they would say, oh, it's only a Corvette, it is a Z06. And like I said in the last video, whenever I see like a square steering wheel, and this goes back to like when Ferrari made the LaFerrari, and they put like a steering square instead of a steering wheel on it. It just seems cumbersome, especially when you're having to go lock to lock, slow, hairpin-like turns. It's awkward to grab different parts of the steering wheel. I'd much rather it be round. If it's going to be a yokish like this, I'd prefer they do something like Tesla did with the Model S and the Cybertruck, where they like a literal yoke. Like it would change your steering inputs. Depending on how fast you're going. Base Corvette has more of a V8 sound to it, more like you'd think a Corvette should have. But this is a nice drive. This is impressive. Okay, so let's go back in the warehouse and let's talk about what it costs to get into one of these. So you want to get into a Z06. What's it going to take? Well, I did an example breakdown of cost for someone that needs to take out financing to buy one of these cars. So the way AutoNation works is it's a one price or a no haggle price structure. So that means that the price fluctuates on the car depending on what the computer system sees comparable cars selling around the country. It takes all the sales and it lists their cars at or below market of whatever the current market is for that particular vehicle. So in the case of this Z06, it's listed at $137,000 as of today, which is August 7th, 2024. If you consider tax, license, registration, depending on where you live, tax rate, about 10% the cost of the car for all that, which is about $13,700 to add on top of it, which brings a total for the car of $150,700 out the door, roughly, again, depending on where you live. If you put 20% down, which is $30,140, it leaves you with a finance balance of $120,560. I checked online, a really good credit rate for a pre-owned car right now is about 7%, give or take. Of course, everybody's different. With a 5-year loan at 7% is going to give you a payment of about $2,380 per month to drive this Z07. Now, that's not even including insurance and maintenance or anything like that. Count insurance, I saw quotes, again, depending greatly on where you live, how much you drive, how many cars you have. Prices anywhere from $160 to $500 a month for insuring this car. So you can only imagine what kind of income you'd have to have, what kind of credit you'd have to get into, which is basically a Ferrari-like payment or a Ferrari-like vehicle that you'd be driving around. So if you want to come check out this car, it's at Porsche Irvine right now. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.